Hello and welcome to How's That? Delhi Capitals won a very good game against Sunrisers Hyderabad. From winning the toss to getting Marcus Stoinis to opening the innings, they got everything right, Vijay. Nice to have you back on the show and congratulations for getting it spot on as far as Delhi Capitals is concerned.
Good morning. I picked Delhi because you picked Hyderabad. So if you had picked Delhi, I would have picked Hyderabad. So I think the team which played better cricket won, and good for Delhi because for the maiden final, and we had a good game. There's no doubt about that.
I picked Hyderabad, Vijay, because Hyderabad had four successive victories, including two in this tournament against Delhi Capitals, and it looked like they would be dominating Delhi Capitals. But full credit to Ricky Ponting and Shreyas Iyer for getting everything right. Like I said, from getting Marcus Stoinis to open the innings, and they got off to a rocket start, as Shreyas Iyer called it, and then getting Hetmeyer into the side. I think they did really well to get the balance and the combination right with it.
Yes, Rajaraman, I think that's the combination we discussed. Stoinis coming in at top of the order, Hitmer coming in, Dubey coming in. So these were, I think, obvious changes they would have looked at. And yeah, the Ponting stamp was there, no doubt about that. Also, we should, why I backed Delhi was, like I said, because you had picked Hyderabad. And the fact that Shikhar Dhawan is known to play those big match innings. So he batted really well. Stoinis gave the start they wanted. So, like you said, nothing went wrong for Delhi.
And nothing went right for Sunrisers Hyderabad. They dropped so many catches yesterday. There were misfields and there was uncharacteristic overthrows. It was almost like Sunrisers were taken over by nerves and conceded a lot of ground to Delhi Capitals, Vijay.
Anxiety, I think, having come this far and looking to make a place in the final. So too many, like they say in tennis, unforced errors because overthrows, dropped catches, they don't speak well for your fielding. And Hyderabad otherwise has been a good fielding side.
But last night was all about Delhi Capitals. There was intent, there was hunger that we got to see from Marcus Stoinis and Shikhar Dhawan, and then Hetmeyer coming in and scoring very quickly to take Delhi Capitals closer to the 200 mark. But at the halfway stage in their innings, it looked like 200 was a possibility. And while they would be disappointed that they didn't get to 200, they bowled really well, particularly with Marcus Stoinis and Kagiso Rabada leading the attack really well.
I thought Stoinis' contribution was immense, and then Hitmer coming in because look, Stoinis is giving you the start. Hitmer is coming in playing those shots when everybody is there expecting him to hit the ball in the air, trying to stop the ball on the fence, and it was a tough job which Hitmer accomplished with the kind of hitting he did, and he was expected to do that. But don't forget Shikhar chipping in at the right time. Shreyas here again disappointed, but it's okay. I mean, as long as he led the team well. But to me, Stoinis was the crucial factor.
And then he came back to bowl a very, very good spell. 2 wickets in an over that virtually finished the game, including that of Kane Williamson, who was going pretty well and almost looked like he would single-handedly take Sunrisers Hyderabad closer to the target. But full credit to Marcus Stoinis for turning up on the park with so much intensity and giving his 100%. I think he would have been riled a little bit by the send-off that he got from Rashid Khan after being bowled. And when he came back to bowl, he was quite a handful for the Sunrisers Hyderabad batsmen.
Yeah, the Aussie spirit was very evident. Stoinis is he loves the battle, and you can see whether as a fielder or as a bowler, as a batsman, he's always in the thick. He loves to be in the thick of action, and last night was no different. He gave evidence of being an absolutely top class all rounder in this format, and I would repeat what we had discussed in one of our earlier shows. That I remember Virat Kohli talking of this boy. He says, Stoinis is the player. I mean, Stoinis is an astonishing player. And now I realize why, because he must have seen that spark 4 or 5 years ago.
I think it would have taken a lot for Ricky Ponting to decide in terms of Stoinis opening the inning. We got to see some stats yesterday that as an opener, he's got 1,500 runs in T20 cricket. And the last big bash, he was quite a star, getting a lot of runs. And then to be opening with him, leaving out a familiar name in Prithvi Shaw and not asking Ajinkya Rahane to open the innings. I think it was a brave call. Not just one that was taken at the spur of the moment, but it seemed very considered, given how Stoinis was eager to go out on the top and make a very good contribution with the bat, Vijay.
See, Stoinis, being a performer that he is, being a competitor that he is, I wouldn't have been surprised that he would have, stood up and said, "Okay, I will take up this responsibility." Because uh, uh, putting Rahane, we did discuss Rahane as an opener, but Rahane wouldn't have waded into the opposition like Stoinis, because Stoinis can play those big shots and he can hit the ball with power. So I remember there was one shot which went close to the fielder, but he wouldn't have dared put his hand to it because it was such a powerful shot. So I think Stoinis was ideally suited to go and take on the job of an opener, and he did wonderfully well.
Let us watch what Stoinis has to say about the decision to ask him to open the innings.
No, Ricky's spoken to me a couple of times about the possibility of opening the batting. And yeah, it just worked out that during this game, this was the time to do it. We tried it once earlier where I batted 3, but it didn't come off. We were chasing about 220. So yeah, fortunately it worked tonight. Shikha's been unbelievable. He's made some big hundreds. And even in the games where he's missed out, he's really timed the ball well, and usually he's hit a good shot, unfortunately to a fielder. So he's really led the way for us this year. He's a leader within our team, brings a lot of energy, shares a lot of knowledge. He's been really good to me through this camp and this time of the IPL. So I'm really proud of him, and he's made, I think, 600 and something runs this season. So yeah, hopefully he's got another big one in the final left in him. Yeah, bowling in this format's always hard. It's more about just, I guess, planning before you get to the ground. You have a good idea. You're speaking to the captain and the coach about the different players and your strategies. I think it's also important to stick to your own strengths. So yeah, and then from there, just be clear. In 2020, often you're not trying to exactly take a wicket, but you're trying to control the run rate, control the game, and build some pressure, which then leads to wickets.
Stoinis, of course, was pretty lucky that Jason Holder was not able to latch onto a catch at short mid-on. He was put in place primarily for that catch, but it went up begging. It was a tough chance, no doubt about it. A tall Jason Holder leaning to his right, but the ball was hit very hard, and it was not going to be easy for him to get that catch. But at 3, he was very fortunate that he could build on an innings. And not only that, I think even Shikhar Dhawan's scoring rate really perked up with Stoinis for company.
Yes, the right leg combination was proving tough for the Hyderabad bowlers, and the catch which you mentioned, Rajaraman, it was just that Holder at least managed to reach it. I'm sure any other fielder would have just watched it sail by. Stoinis deserved because he had. I mean, there is no harm in a batsman being adventurous at that point, because he has been sent exactly to that. And catches don't really count. I mean, in the sense, if this is a format where you're trying to hit the ball, you will give the opposition some chances. And he did give a chance. If they didn't latch onto it, bad luck for Hyderabad. But it was Stoinis' day. So I think he got away with whatever he did.
Right, Vijay. There's always going to be an intriguing question. With Delhi Capitals getting off to a flyer, would it have been right for David Warner to bring on his best bowler, Rashid Khan, in power play? Here is a question from Abhishek Chopra of the North Stand Gang, Mumbai.
And if you have a champion bowler like Rashid in your bowling lineup, why wouldn't you bowl him in the power play? Why would you hold him back, especially when the opposition has had a great start?
That's a very interesting question from Abhishek. He's a very, very good student of the game. I know that. I mean, he researches a lot and he watches a lot, and he has a fantastic memory of cricket. But let me tell you, if you see the power play, Sandeep gave 3 runs in his first over, then Holder 8, then Sandeep 10, and then Holder 18. That was the fourth over. And then again, Sandeep Sharma, when he came back, he gave 11. It was just the sixth over where Nadeem went for 15 runs. So, yes, there could have been room for Rashid Khan to come into the power play, but at that point, I'm sure it wouldn't have struck David Warner that Nadeem would go for 15 runs. He had been bowling well until then. Of course, Rashid Khan, when he came, he put the brakes on Delhi. Great, I mean, wonderful bowler, no doubt. But yeah, Abhishek has a point. Maybe he could have tried, but then it's all in hindsight.
I think, Vijay, also the fact that every bowler has got just a 4-over restriction. And David Warner would have wanted to use him in the middle overs because that is very critical. They have good death over bowlers. Someone like a Natarajan handles the death over bowling pretty well, and Jason Holder chips in quite well at that stage. So they would have wanted to use Rashid Khan primarily between the 7th and the 15th over. I think it is always a gamble when you bring in a spinner in power play. It is going to be risky. With just 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle, it is going to be risky. Whether it was Shahbaz Nadeem or whether it was Rashid Khan, they would have gone for some runs, given the fact that Delhi Capitals was hungry and wanting to score quite freely at that stage.
Probably Abhishek also could be driven by the fact that Rashid Khan is a very confident bowler. I mean, he doesn't mind getting hit. He has a large heart. So maybe he could have pushed in a couple of overs or maybe at least one.
Yeah, like you said, hindsight is a great thing to have, but it's a very valid question, no doubt about that. But when he came on, he was again effective, not only in picking up Stoinis' wicket, but also in checking the flow of runs. He did a very good job for Hyderabad last night, Rashid Khan.
It will be, I'll miss Rashid Khan on the screen when we watch the final because just for him, just for his efforts, Hyderabad would have backed themselves and maybe their fans could have said, yeah, Hyderabad deserved a place in the final.
And the kind of acceleration that Shimron Hetmeyer gave the Delhi Capitals side in the end, Vijay, I think that would have made a difference as well. Stoinis in the beginning, then Shikhar Dhawan holding the side really well, also scoring quickly. But it was really Hetmeyer's hitting that put the match beyond Sunrisers Hyderabad's reach.
It was a very, very valuable contribution at that point because if you remember, he had to just come and straight away get into the stride. It is very, very difficult. You can't just come and start hitting the ball. And then look at the way he picked his shots. He was very sure of where he had to, the areas where he had to hit. And there was a slog on the onside. Then there was this inside out over cover, over point. I mean, he was an asset to the team last night.
And when Sunrisers started its chase of 193, Vijay, they would have wanted David Warner to score big, but he came back pretty quickly, being bowled by Kagiso Rabada off his pad. But that was one very, very good delivery that kept following David Warner, who was moving away from the ball.
Yes, very good delivery. It kept on following him. It was just that it hit the pads. It would have gone somewhere else also. I mean, it hit the pads and then struck the stump. So success of the first ball for Rabada meant a lot for Delhi and hit Hyderabad very hard because they would have expected Warner to excel on such in such a situation. It was tailor-made for Warner to come and just start take charge. Unfortunately for Hyderabad, the ball hit the pads and then went rocketed into the stumps. He could have still missed the stumps any other day.
And we got to see a glimpse of Priyam Garg. He hadn't scored too many runs in the tournament so far, but they ventured him at the start of the innings, and then he had a couple of very good blows. Showed glimpses of what he's capable of, but it was really Kane Williamson and Jason Holder who fought hard and took Hyderabad closer to the target and put those worry creases on the head of Ricky Ponting and Shreyas at one point of time.
Yes, Garg is a very good talent. I mean, we are going to hear a lot about him in the years to come. And with Williamson at the other end, I think he would have needed a better figure as inspiration.
Yes, Vijay. But Williamson and Holder, when they were batting, there was some hope for the Sunrisers Hyderabad fan. But like they say, it was a bridge too far, too much to do and too few resources at that point of time. And when Jason Holder got out, it was all over bar the shouting.
Yes, Holder getting out and then Williamson getting out at a point where Delhi, if you see you could see the worry on their faces in the dugout, on the field. They really thought that Williamson is going to take the game away, and he would have. It was just that one ball. If I mean, again in hindsight, he would have left it. It would have been a wide. He couldn't connect it. A slower one. It did. It kind of stopped when it hit the bat. So yeah, it was a tough call for Williamson whether to whatever to do with the ball, but he did what best he could have, and he created a beautiful contest in the middle with his batting.
It is hard not to be a Williamson fan, Vijay. And the manner in which he batted in the last two games for Hyderabad was very revealing. Let us watch what he has to say about Sunrisers Hyderabad campaign.
A season of fine lines, I think. We had a number of very, very close losses, and we weren't perhaps playing our best. And I think every team is very, very strong. So look, everybody's beaten everybody, and you have to be at the top of your game. And I think as a team, we were looking for that rhythm to our play, as a collective, and it perhaps took a little bit of time. I think a lot of teams are in a similar boat, so it was nice we were able to find it at the crunch time and win sort of 4 or 5 in a row, which gave us the opportunity. But like I say, we would have loved to have gone through and not meant to be today. I think they've been trying to find a rhythm to their play, a little bit like we were, and we managed to for a period of time. And tonight they put it all together and played very, very well and put a very competitive total on the board, which going into the second innings, there's always risks that need to be taken. And unfortunately, we didn't get off to the best of starts, but managed to build a few partnerships, through the middle period, and we still had a little bit of an opportunity. So. A real shame not to kick on in the tournament and make the final, but I think particularly in the last 3 weeks, the guys can be pretty proud of how they played.
And then there was some entertainment for the Hyderabad fans when Abdul Samad joined Rashid Khan, and the two of them hit a few lusty blows. But we always knew that it was not going to be easy for Hyderabad to catch up with Delhi.
Yes, Rajaraman, Samad would have needed something like what Rahul Tewatia did that day, or Jofra Archer did that night, when they connected, and they connected well. Every ball. Here also he was connecting, couple of balls went outside stadium, but this particular one was a tough call because he looked kind of cramped. The ball obviously didn't go where he directed it to, but Samad did give glimpses of his awesome talent.
Vijay, the manner in which Delhi Capitals captain Shreyas Iyer used his bowlers, and he had 6 of them. There were 3 seamers and there were 3 spin bowlers, and he used them pretty well. But there is always going to be a question now whether he is leading the side or whether Ricky Ponting was giving some kind of direction from outside. Here is Abhishek Chopta's second question for the day.
Delhi Capitals, do you think it's Shreyas Iyer's team or is it actually Ricky Ponting's team? If it is Ponting's team, is that a trend that we're going to see more often in the IPL, especially since it might or it already has become a template for success now? Thank you so much.
Vijay, you said Abhishek is a good student of the game, and this question really tells us why he is such a good student of the game. It is not very easy for people to discern from outside that much of the captaincy thoughts are stemming from Ricky Ponting. He has been one of the greatest captains in the world, has led Australia to World Cup victory so many times, and has led them in test matches also very efficiently. And if he's not going to share his captaincy skills, his knowledge with the young Shreyas Iyer, then the whole of IPL's purpose is being defeated. But yes, you're right, Abhishek, you're not the only one. We had Ajay Jadeja pointing out that some of the captaincy was happening from outside. And it is very interesting. I don't know if it is going to be a template. There are some very strong captains, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, for example. Rohit Sharma is another one. Virat Kohli could be a third captain. And even David Warner. I don't think Trevor Bayliss would have wanted to speak about captaincy so much with David Warner, and he had 3 other international captains with him. So you're going to see a mix and match. Not all teams are going to follow the Delhi Capitals route. Anil Kumble and KL Rahul, for example, that would have been a very good partnership as well. And we got to see Owen Morgan establish himself a little bit more than Dinesh Karthik as captain. So you're going to find a mix and match, Abhishek, and it will be interesting. Gives us some more talking points in the future as captaincy in IPL evolves.
I agree completely, Rajaraman, but I think that will be the trend because the coach has a role to play and the captain is under tremendous pressure all the time. So I won't call it an interference from the coach. Timely inputs is most welcome.
Right, Vijay. We come to the end of the qualifiers. We now have Delhi Capitals ready to take on Mumbai Indians and hopefully make a match of it. They have beaten Hyderabad after having lost twice, and they're going to play Mumbai after having lost twice. It is going to be interesting. But tomorrow, thanks to you, we're going to be joined by Rima Malhotra, former India leg spinner, and a very good analyst of the game. And I'm hoping that we will have an interesting conversation with Rima, Vijay.
Yes, Rajaraman. I mean, I respect her cricket view, so I'm sure it will be interesting.
Thank you very much, Vijay. Today, I will have to take the disappointment of Hyderabad going out, but I'm also happy that Delhi won and will go and fight with Mumbai Indians tomorrow.
Yeah, cheer up. You can back Delhi in the final, and I'll back Mumbai Indians.
You have a lovely day, Vijay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.